Minecraft speedrunning has evolved. We are past the ways of our ancestors, per se, using relatively simple strategies, normally relying on the player's senses and luck to find necessities for the run. However, with modern strategies, runners now use math and the game's mechanics to create new strategies and enhance reset efficiency. Now, obviously, I'm talking about the random seed categories, in which a player loads up a random world and beats the game as fast as they can. But what about RSG's smaller, less popular cousin? Well, it turns out this gem contains a lot more than meets the eye. Let's see how a small yet dedicated group of gamers beat Minecraft in under 2 minutes. Set Seed Glitchless, or SSG, has been lurking in the shadows for years in Minecraft speedrunning. There have been times where it has been reasonably popular, even more popular than RSG in the early 2010s, but it never reached the same level of popularity as RSG in recent years. While it's understandable due to the randomness of RSG being very entertaining, SSG is still an incredible category with incredible runners. Rather than players relying on game sense and instincts, SSG is almost all mechanics. Many seed finders create programs that search for certain seeds containing certain things to get the fastest times. These are the things seed finders search for 1.16 SSG, which is what we are talking about today. Runners will need a source of beds, a source of obsidian for entering and leaving the nether, with extra for the 1 cycle, an extremely close stronghold, blind travel spot into the portal room, a 12-eye pre-lit end portal, and an ideal end island layout. These things are all extremely rare, of course. A pre-lit end portal alone has a 1 in 1 trillion chance of occurring in a seed, and everything else happening in the same seed, well, the odds are astronomically low. Anyway, only 4 world record seeds have been found in the year that 1.16 has existed. SSG in 1.16 wasn't ran at all for about 3 months after its release. But finally, the first world record in 1.16 SSG occurred on October 4th, 2020 by Polish YouTuber Tobias Gaming. This run was pretty good for its time, as it was the second sub-3 set seed run for any category. The seed, however, was very complicated with many steps and an incredibly long nether, and Tobias was barely able to get a sub-2 end entry. The run was pretty clean, however, with no major mistakes throughout the run. A new seed was discovered shortly after Tobias's record, containing a blacksmith with 16 obsidian and an iron ingot, 5 houses containing beds, and a completable ruin portal, all extremely close to spawn. The blacksmith took care of the obsidian to leave the nether. The houses contained enough beds to defeat the dragon, as well as 1 extra to carve out a hole in the wall to leave the nether later in the run. The ruin portal was the way to travel to the nether in this seed as well. The nether was considerably shorter than the previous seed, containing 2 main parts. At first, the player would run through a basalt delta, then through a soul sand valley in nether waste to reach the spot where they would build the second portal, blowing up a bed to make a hole for the portal to be built in. Standing at a certain spot in the portal will put you in the portal room in the stronghold, where you can walk into a 12-eye pre-lit end portal. The first world record on this seed occurred 3 days after Tobias's 256, a 252 by Rattles. No significant mistakes were made in this run, and she was able to clutch out a 4-bed 1 cycle to finish the run. The next day, she improved her time by 5 seconds to acquire a 247, but it was still reasonably complicated. Then, 3 days later, the record was lowered by 5 seconds by Silliest on October 11th. Now, Silliest's record was unrecorded, but it did have a major difference. Since this is unrecorded, we'll see what's different with the next record, which occurred a day after. On October 12th, the very next day, a new world record of 236 was achieved by Fireworks. He used a different seed than Rattles' record, but this seed wasn't exactly unique. If I compare Rattles' world record to Fireworks', you can see something slightly off. Fireworks spawns in a much different spot, and instead of an island blocking one's way to the ruin portal, it is now open sea. This is because this seed is called a sister seed. Sister seeds are seeds that share many similarities with slightly different terrain and world layout. Here's a list of sister seed differences and similarities. This sister seed is better than the previous due to a house with 4 beds residing in the village, and an easier path through the blacksmith and ruin portal. Runners often reset for a dolphin to help swimming to the ruin portal much faster. In this run, Fireworks unfortunately did not get a dolphin, and with his floppy overworld overall, entered the Nether in 44 seconds, a pace which was decent for the time, but a few seconds could have easily been saved here. The Nether was good enough to bring the run back though, and after entering the end a minute later, he took down the dragon in just 51 seconds. This run really revealed this category's true potential. People began to wonder, could Minecraft be beaten in under 2 minutes and 30 seconds? 4 days after the Fireworks record, StarClay666 got onto a run. Armed with new strategies within the run, he had a shot at the world record. 42 seconds after creating the world, he was into the Nether, 2 seconds out of the world record. A 1-minute Nether split later, slightly slower than the world record, but still ahead, he entered the end approximately 3 seconds ahead of the record. If this was going to be the record, he would need a perch on par with the incredible perch Fireworks had. He didn't get that. He got a perch slightly slower, and with a 5-bed 1 cycle to his name, he had lost enough time in the end for the world record to not be a guarantee. With a real time of 2:39.7, StarClay would have to have at least 3.41 seconds of loading time at the least taken away from the final time. After a retime, however, it was determined that StarClay's world record was an incredible 0.1 seconds ahead of the record. To this day, this is one of the closest set seed world records. 2 days later, speedrunner Churney would get a new world record of 2:35.3. This record was the first to only grab 4 beds from the village, as before one would grab 5 beds to blow up a hole for the portal build in the Nether. This became obsolete with a new portal build location being discovered. This record was also the first to have a dolphin while swimming to the ruin portal. With an incredible sub-40 Nether enter, this run was on insane pace. With a subpar Nether though, this quickly became less insane pace, but still world record. After a quick perch, Churney hit the 4-bed, acquiring a new world record with it. 2 days afterward, Fireworks would reclaim the record with a 2:33. At this point, sub-2:30 was in reach. It was going to happen any day now, and the community, despite its small size, was excited to see who would be the first to claim the record. Well, a week later, they would get the answer to that question. On October 27th, Rattles would get onto a run. She had an incredibly good overworld, clocking into the Nether at an astounding 36 seconds. Even today, that is a solid pace. With a new Nether route as well, this run could be something. Less than a minute after entering the Nether, she arrived in the end at 1 minute and 35 seconds. With an ideal dragon perch, this could be a chance to make history. After 13 agonizing seconds of waiting, the dragon finally perched. Rattles rushed to the fountain and got prepared to do the 1 cycle. As the dragon swerved its head around a 5th time, Rattles exploded a bed. A solid amount of damage, followed by a 2nd bed, also with amazing damage. At this point, Rattles had done almost the max damage possible with 2 beds on the dragon. She had a chance here to do something called a 3+1, where the player does so much damage on the first 3 beds that they can immediately blow up the final bed and the dragon will die, saving close to a 2nd. This not being common practice at the time, and the 3rd bed being subpar though, enabled Rattles to do a normal 4-bed 1 cycle. With a great final bed, Rattles finished the run with a final time of 2 minutes and 28 seconds. With this milestone, the community celebrated, but also began to question, was sub 2 minutes possible? Not on the current seed, of course, but on a different seed, a better seed. Could it be done? The record continued to climb down. On November 2nd, Minecraft got 2:27, and 11 days later, this was broken by Rattles again with a 2:26.8. 2 weeks later, Minecraft got a 2:21, an absolutely ridiculous time. By now, many new small strategies had been implemented into the run, including an alternate portal build design, a different nether route, and other things. Minecraft had a solid 36-second overworld followed by a 48-second nether. After entering the end in 1 minute and 35 seconds, he would need a very good end in order to get the record. For that to happen, he wouldn't need a good perch, he would need a great perch. As he set up his one cycle, he turned around and was greeted with a sensational snap. When the dragon snaps its position like so and turns toward the fountain, that means it is going to perch. 22 seconds after entering the end, the dragon snapped, indicating the perch. Because of this incredible perch, this was suddenly world record pace. If he could hit the 4-bed one cycle, a hard but doable feat, he had a chance to get one of the most iconic records in 1.16 plus SSG history. He did so, and 10 seconds later, after the dragon death animation completed, he had himself a new world record of 2 minutes, 21 seconds. This record was so good, very solid, so lucky, that it remained at the top of the leaderboard for over 4 months. It took a whole new seed for the record to be broken. On February 13th, 2021, a new seed was discovered. On a seed with a spruce forest village, a ruined portal, and a bastion in the nether. This was a longer overworld, but with a way better nether, with nethers under 40 seconds being a reality. This seed was hard though, so a runner needed amazing RNG and skill to even get a run on this seed. 2 days after the seed was discovered, Feinberg would get 2 minutes and 20 seconds and beat the world record by 1 second. 3 hours later, not only the sub 220 but also the sub 215 barrier would be broken when Entrecouse got a 214 the very same day. Everything in this run was incredibly smooth, and it remained the record for almost a month. People began to realize that sub 210 was very possible. However, at this point, 5 seconds was no small time save. By March, many small optimizations had been made to the run, which on their own saved little time, but together saved precious seconds off of the run. On March 16th, a player by the name of Rayo loaded up a new world. Now, Rayo specializes in SSG specifically. He was the first to get a sub 4 run in the pre 1.9 category and had a top time in 1.16 SSG at 2:17. On this day, he was doing 1.16 SSG world record attempts, and 15 minutes into his session, he loaded into the previous world mentioned. He had a sloppy overworld, only barely entering the nether in under 40 seconds, but it was still good pace, so he continued the run. One very clean nether split later, he was in the end at the 124 mark, a second ahead of the world record. He would need a very fast dragon perch for this to be the world record, and, well, I think you get the idea by now. As he was running from the fountain in third person, he noticed the dragon snap into its perch phase. 4 beds and a dragon death animation later, he had beaten the game in 2 minutes, 10 seconds, and 467 milliseconds. Now, the run only had to save about half a second to break the sub 210 barrier. On the evening of March 31st, a runner by the name of Magnetic had began a new run. Magnetic, as I will now refer to him, had been grinding SSG for a while at this point. He had been a top 3 runner back in October of 2020 and was one of the most mechanically skilled players in the game. If he was so good, why did he not have a world record at this point? Well, Magnetic had gotten very unlucky with his perches, and when he did get a perch, he would get a dragon at a certain height above the fountain when perching, making it nearly impossible to do a 4-bed one cycle. But on this fateful night, he would complete the game in 2 minutes, 10 seconds, and 467 milliseconds. Yes, at first the run was thought to be under 2 minutes 10 seconds. However, since the verifiers couldn't agree what the final time was, they just decided to put it as a tie between the two runners. Runners continued to do attempts, and on April 13th, Magnetic broke his own record with a 209, finally breaking the sub 210 barrier. 2 months later, he would break the record again with a slightly faster 209. 4 days later, he would acquire a 208.45. The same day, Magnetic would enter the end in just 1:15, close to the theoretical human limit at the time, which was 1:13. By this point, the community began to theorize if sub 2 minutes would be possible. Many agreed that it was doable, but it would need such a perfect run that it was extremely unrealistic on the current seed. The 1.17 version of Minecraft was released on June 6th, so the possibility of a new seed on 1.17 was a reality. One fateful night on June 15th, Starclay was going through potential SSG seeds from 1.16 that didn't work out in 1.17, and was recommended one to check out by Sheep, another runner. This seed contained a village spawn and 2 blacksmiths. Both blacksmiths contained a whopping 26 obsidian combined in the chests, including iron to craft a flint and steel. In order to get flint, however, there were 2 underground gravel patches to dig for flint, which meant that just to get to the nether, you needed good luck with getting flint from gravel. This would be a major setback when running this seed. But with perfect RNG data packs, it was discovered that this overworld could be the fastest overworld out of all SSG seeds. The nether was extremely simple but incredibly fast, with the sub-30 nether split being realistic with gnarly execution. The end was inconvenient, however, as runners spawned in an underground box, which took a few seconds to dig out of. The dragon perch is fastest when it's on the south node, so in order to wait for the perch, runners on previous seeds would set up the 1 cycle and run back in the north direction to wait for the perch. But due to getting to the middle of the end island taking longer on this new seed, in order to get a faster, more convenient perch, setting up the 1 cycle had to occur as the dragon perched. But besides the end, this was a very fast seed. Some runners left SSG after the new seed was found, as the flint RNG was too annoying to deal with. Magnetic got 2 personal bests on the seed before quitting normal SSG for that same reason. He would continue to attempt extremely fast overworld or nether splits in the run in custom practice maps, but he wouldn't do any more normal SSG. Rayo continued to do so, however, and on June 18th got the first world record on this new seed with a time of 2:06. 11 days later, on June 29th, he would acquire a time of 2:04. He would later beat this record with a time of 2:01 2 days afterward. Sub 2 was just inches away. It was going to happen any day now. All eyes were on Rayo. He continued the grind. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days passed. The intensity was through the roof. On the 4th day, Rayo had the potential to make history. The sun was setting on a calm and peaceful night. Birds flew over his head, unaware of the monumental accomplishment about to be achieved by humanity. Just 34 seconds into the run, Rayo had entered the nether. Very solid pace. With a respectable 33-second nether split, good pace for the time, he entered the end in just 1 minute and 8 seconds. Rayo would need a 51-second end split or faster in order to get sub 2. He didn't go into the end expecting a perch, of course, as the chances were 1 in 13 to get a perch at all, but he did get one this run, as it perched shortly after he arrived to the waiting spot. Most people in this situation would crack. The nerves would spike to dangerous levels, causing them to choke the 1 cycle. But Rayo has been in this situation many a time. He's used to this pressure, and after 4 historical beds, Rayo had achieved the unthinkable. He had beaten Minecraft in under 2 minutes. As the sun disappeared behind the horizon, Rayo released one of the best reactions I've ever heard.
Holy shit. What the fuck? This could have been so much better. I messed up the nether portal, what?
Rayo would improve this record a month later with a time of 1:56, and that's where the record stands today. Despite its small community, the 1.16 plus SSG category has come a long way. It went from a mediocre sub 3 to under 2 minutes in less than a year. This has been one of the most fascinating hidden gems in Minecraft speedrunning, in my opinion. Thank you so much to the 1.9 plus SSG Discord for helping me out with research and history. The link to it will be in the description. And thank you to Rayo and Magnetic for answering some of the questions I had about their runs. The links to their channels will be in the description as well. And thank you the most to Airlight for editing the video and helping out so much, and just, he was such a big part of this video and I couldn't have done it without him, so make sure to show him some love, subscribe to him, follow him on Twitter, all that stuff, check out his Twitch. He was a great editor. We're getting it out on time due to him, and yeah, please show him some love. This video was a joy to make, and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you feel like it, and have a good one.